Good morning, Delaware. We made it.
We made it another week.
Another week. We're in July.
We are.
Summer is flying by.
It really is.
This
it really
is the last week that you're going to have Nicole and Molly. Next week, you'll have an extra special show with.
We're both running away.
Yeah, we're both running away. We're fleeing. We said that's enough library for us.
Yeah.
But now we're going to go read on the beach. Well, I'm going to go read on the beach.
Well, you're going to read on the beach. I'm going to be reading in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
So
there's a beach there.
There is. I think I'm doing some dune buggy in the big sand dunes thing.
Nice.
I don't know.
That's awesome. Yeah.
My sister keeps dropping in and there's this thing we wanted to do. It could kill you. It's okay.
Right.
So
that's kind of how my vacation started too. We're going to the island of Barbados.
Yours is so fancy.
And at first it's going to be very calm and relaxing, and then it was but also there's this, and also there's this. And our guests this morning are going to love this because our guests are Michelle. Wow. Now I said wow because I had in my notes that it's Lowe.
She is going to be wow.
Rhymes with Lowe. Yeah. Michelle Lowe, who is our Read with Horses coordinator, and Angie Mack, director of development for the Stockhands Horses for Healing. But the reason why this is so exciting is because one of the things that happens on the island of Barbados is they take horses out to bathe in the ocean at sunrise at Pebbles Beach. I was like, I think we need to see that. I think we need to see the horses. So good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Angie.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
We are happy to have you here this morning. You guys, our listeners are going to want to stay tuned because the second half of the show, we're going to be talking about Read with the Horses, a very special initiative that our friends at Stockhands Horses for Healing do that now is a partnership with the Delaware County District Library. So be sure to stay tuned about that. But first, we'll start as we always do.
Books.
With books. Mm-hmm. What do you got, Molly?
Oh, I've got a book I loved. Okay, this is sort of one of those big, popular books, and I often want these to not be as good as they are. Every time I read one, I'm like, everybody's reading it. It can't be that good. And then I fall in love with every single one of them. And today's Fall in Love With is The Briar Club by Kate Quinn.
Oh, okay. We've heard a lot about Kate Quinn, but I don't think I know The Briar Club.
This is her newest one, I think.
Okay.
I think. I didn't do all the research, but it's still pretty darn new. This is a apartment building called the Briar Club. And in the Briar Club are all these different women. None of them really know each other. There's one, Grace, who seems to be pulling everybody together. But as the story begins, and this is what I got for listening to the audio and not paying attention, the very first few sentences are all about, it's Thanksgiving, and there's a dead body in the Briar Club.
This seems right up your alley.
It is, but it is not a cozy mystery. This is like a real literary mystery.
Okay,
Not one where, Molly's favorites. There's no Maine Coon cat in this. Let's just be really specific. There's no yarn. There's no baking.
No coffee.
I mean, there is baking. There is a lot of cooking, actually, but it goes perfectly. So all these women don't really know each other, but this widow, Grace, moves in, and it starts with a murder, and then it quickly takes you back about 4 years. And you meet the first character. Though Grace keeps getting mentioned throughout the book, we start with Nora. And this is the main story I'm going to tell you because I'm going to leave the others for you to investigate. But this is the one that starts to unwind first. Nora is the daughter of police officers, and she knows that they can be as dirty as the villains they're supposedly protecting. Well, of course, a mobster falls in love with Nora. And Nora wants nothing to do with him. She wants nothing to do with him, but he's like a really great guy. And the story progresses, and of course, he's a mobster. He's going to end up in some bad stuff. Some things happen. Nora ends up entangled, and Grace comes in with some good advice. Going to kind of try to keep from spoiling this.
You're working really hard at that, I can see.
Like this. I'm really struggling with that. And the whole time that the story's getting unveiled, they're talking about this vine getting painted up the Briar Club's wall. And suddenly, during Nora's story, Grace starts the Briar Club. And the Briar Club is all the people living there start coming together on Thursday nights for dinner. And you have to bring something. It can be a can of food. And as we start meeting all the other characters, the British woman, Fliss, who just can't handle her child, the artist that fled Nazi Poland, the, character from the Women's Baseball League, all of this is set in post-World War II, America. It is just heart-wrenching. You get excited for them. You're laughing. It's got everything. Kate Quinn, she knocked this one out of the ballpark.
She weaves a good story.
She really
does great character building, great historic fiction.
And she gives you so many characters to just get lost in this book. So the Briar Club, if you've been hearing about it and going, do I want it? You want to read it. You're in the mood for it right now. Just trust me, because it's going to hit one of your moods at some point, and you're going to be okay with it taking you to other places. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was the book I needed. It was everything. I was so sad when it ended. Aww. I wanted another chapter. Yeah. I wanted them, even though she does a great job. It was a good closed ending.
Right.
I wanted another chapter just because I missed my friends at the Briar Club.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful. Highly recommend. Kate Quinn's The Briar Club.
Very good. Michelle, you are quite a reader. Michelle admitted while we were in the lobby before coming on today that this month alone, July alone?
So June and the beginning of July.
So a book a day.
Pretty much.
30 books, people,
this is so
what Michelle
to me.
is what Michelle said.
That's what my summer break consists of, is reading.
It's so funny because I have guests on and I'll say, we ask our guests if they want to share a book that they've recently read. And it doesn't have to be recent. It can be anything in your entire life. And there are some people who are like, I haven't read a book in 15 years. I'm like, that's okay. The listeners don't know that,
Yes.
Michelle is not that person.
No.
Yeah, I had a really hard time picking which book to share. And I landed on one that I read this week, actually, called The Memory Library by Kate Storey. It's about this mom who every year for her daughter's birthday, she gets her a book and she writes inside the book a note. And the book somehow relates to what's happening in the daughter's life at that point in time. And you see kind of the ups and downs and the roller coaster of this mom-daughter relationship. And unfortunately, they become estranged. However, after they become estranged, the mom continues to buy a book every single year and, put a note inside and save the book for her daughter. And she continues to build this massive library for her daughter. So long story short, something happens and the daughter ends up coming back and discovers that her mom has built this library. And you meet all these different characters and you see their views on books and the meaning of the books and just how important a role a book can play in somebody's life as you're kind of going on this mom-daughter relationship journey. And it was just such a good read, such a feel-good read. Took you through a whole bunch of different emotions, and I just can't recommend it enough.
It sounds it sounds sweet, but it sounds like it's got a lot of heart in it too. It might break your heart a little bit at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation.
I know,
The Memory
I'm gonna have to
Library.
add that to my list as well.
By Kate Storey. What a perfect last name for an author too.
Right?
Storey.
I thought the same thing.
Wow.
Angie, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have a book you want to share?
I read a lot. I have a lot of audiobooks, especially when I'm driving around too. But the one I'm listening to right now is called The Scholar and the Last Faerie Door.
Yeah.
And it's by H.G. Parry, Parry. And if you like Harry Potter, if you got into that world, excuse me, sorry, have my phone up. If you liked Harry Potter and that, it's kind of like Harry Potter-esque where this 1930s or so woman, her brother dies in the war, and she finds out he was actually cursed by a fairy. Ooh. And it was this whole concept, they're hiding it, the fairy world, magical world doesn't exist, to human beings, etc. And so she finds out he has a curse, and so she goes and finds this university, kind of like the whole Hogwarts concept where they're teaching magic, and she's like the muggle of worlds, but they don't mention muggle. But anyway, so
that's
she's trying
trademarked
to
by somebody.
save her brother from this curse, and so you're following these college students or whatever through the thing, and it's very much brought me back to the whole when you first read Harry Potter for the first time, and you were engrossed in it. But I'm not finished with it yet, but it's definitely something that every time I get in the car, I make excuses to go to the grocery store. I don't really need to go right now, but I want to listen to it, so I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Exactly.
So.
Is it written for an adult audience?
I think it's more closer to that younger
like a
adult.
YA.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So so far, knock on wood, there hasn't been any spicy anything.
Okay.
But I can't guarantee that. I didn't read the reviews on it. So, but yeah, right now it looks like it's that late teen kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
My teen checklist is not so much like how spicy or not it is, it's how angsty it is. Like
Okay.
how deeply are they feeling their emotions right now? If they're kind of like glossing over them, then I'm like, oh, okay, I could handle that. But if they're like deep in the feels, I'm usually like, oh yeah, this is for a 13-year-old and not me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, that is called, you said The Scholar, and then it had like a subtitle.
Yeah. The Scholar and the Last Faerie Door.
Oh, and The Last Faerie Door. That sounds great.
Yeah. It was really cool. It seems cool.
I'm going to add that to my list.
You know, you made that phrase, it's like the first time you read Harry Potter. Every time I see somebody pick that book up for the first time, I'm jealous because I don't get to feel that
Yeah,
again.
you're so
I love
excited.
it when
Yeah.
you find a book like that you're like so surprised and just so your heart's brought into it. Everything is in that book.
Yeah. It's very exciting.
That sounds really good. I love the diversity in our books this morning because my book is very different from everyone else's, and they've all been each unique in their
when
own
you
way.
do that.
This is the one that I'm listening to right now, which we totally count listening as reading
Yes.
because it's a story. You know, it's just how are you going to
I would never
consume
have
the
anything
story?
for this show if it wasn't for
Right.
audiobooks.
So I'm listening to Farewell Yellow Brick Road: Memories of My Life on Tour by Elton John. Sir Elton John.
I'm so excited to hear about this one.
It's really, really lovely. So it's a 6-hour audiobook. It's very easy to listen to. It has multiple narrators. We've got Richard Armitage, Vikas Adam, Daniel Henning, Ray Porter, Jesse Einstein, Fred Berman, Eduardo Ballerini. I'm trying to see if there are any other like major names, but lots of different names come into put this audiobook together. And it's a really cool biography in the way that it's not just Elton John talking about his life. What he's done is he's taken the Farewell Yellow Brick Road tour that he went on that was supposed to be in like 2018, 19, 20 or 19, 20, 21. And then, of course, really got messed up because of COVID. And he had to reschedule it. But he wanted to make the announcement that I'm going on tour. This will be my last tour. I want to do it right. This is definitely a retirement. It's not like it's a retirement and then ta-da, I'm back. Because he's like, I'm 77. Like, I want to spend time with my family. I have a beautiful family. And they deserve my time as well. And so he really wanted to do it right. So he and his partner worked together to make this tour happen, to give homage to some of the favorite cities that he had been to in his entire career. I mean, from the early 70s to today, like 5 decades of touring. And he frames the book with his stops. So he says, we began in Allentown or Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has a really special place in his heart. And so he talks about, he'll say tour stop numbers 1 through 4. And he'll talk about his 4 nights that he did in Pennsylvania. And then he'll remember other times that he played in Pennsylvania. So he'll throw in other memories like that. And then he bops over to Madison Square Gardens in New York City. And he remembers, tour stops, 21 through 24. Talks about those a little bit, but then also remembers his time in New York City. He has significant memories in New York City from really hanging out with John Lennon. He and John Lennon were good friends, and where they connected, though they are both Brits, was in New York City. And that's where they were always like, well, I'll meet you again in New York City, and we know John Lennon had the Dakota apartment there, which is unfortunately where everything happened with Lennon. But then he goes to Texas, and he says that Texas was like one of the first places that embraced him whenever he came to the States. And he talked about, again, though he was a Brit, he really wasn't accepted by the British whenever he first went on tour. It was when he came to America, and we were like, yeah, okay, we like this spectacle. Like, you are kind of ridiculous.
I mean, the Muppets loved him, so.
he really is just great. He talks about why he kind of did the like really lavish, flamboyant like costumes and performances and things like that. And it was partly because of who he was, but also he said it was kind of the British way. Like at that time there was David Bowie, who, did things that big. Mick Jagger was even like doing things that big. He was like, that's kind of like, if I wanted to set myself like in line or apart from these other Brits, like I kind of had to do it bigger, better. Plus I was at a piano, so I couldn't move around as much. So it needed to be shinier, flashier, more ridiculous. So how do we do that? And so he was just, it's a really fun book, Farewell Yellow Brick Road, Memories of My Life on Tour. And I would recommend it for anyone who loves Elton John and loves a little music, a little music bio.
I love the idea that they remember our cities. Like,
he really
now I
does.
can think Cyndi Lauper maybe really remembers being in Columbus.
Yeah, they do. And he talks about, like, I loved the venue, or I loved the people, or, I felt accepted here. And, so it definitely is. It definitely is something that lies in the hearts of the performers. So definitely a high recommendation, a good thing to listen to this summertime. If you're seeing lots of concerts, it'll just get you in the right frame of mind. But with that, we are going to take a break. And on the other half, we are going to come back and talk to our friends from Stockhands Horses for Healing about the Read with the Horses program. So stay tuned.
My music in the morning, the Mid-Ohio Breakfast Club.
Hey, what's going on? It's Mark, Sherry, and Pam. Mark Bingham, Sherry Fisher, Pam Spencer. We are the Mid-Ohio Breakfast Club. We do a little live and local morning radio show every weekday morning between 6 and 9. News and weather and traffic and sports. And the other day we found out that Pam Spencer is something of a legend in New Albany High School. Her exploits in marching band camp, well, they're epic. She won't tell us, though. Stories about band camp.
Need to talk about band
Don't need to talk about. That's why.
What happens at band camp stays at band camp.
Yeah, see, that's why band kids are cool. Come on by and check us out weekday mornings. Traffic to get you where you need to go. Sherry with Mid-Ohio News for your neck of the woods. My 96.7 WDLR and Classic Rock 95X.
Well, welcome back. We are excited for the second half of the show because we have like a little bit of breaking news. This is a new partnership that we have at the Delaware County District Library that is with our friends at Stockhands Horses for Healing. And if you know this group, they do a lot of work with folks using horses as therapy. And now we're partnering with you for this Read with the Horses program. But first, will you tell our listeners a little bit about Stockhands Horses for Healing?
Yeah, so Stockhands has been here in Delaware County for 11 years. We started working primarily with children with autism and our veterans population. Those are two populations that kind of really warmed the heart of our two co-founders, Tim and Lisa Funk. But since then, in the last 11 years, we've just kind of exploded. So now we not only work with those populations, but all children and adults with developmental and physical disabilities, veterans, first responders. And in the last couple of years, we've been working a lot within the mental health. So survivors of human trafficking. I mean, horses as therapeutic activities works in all kinds of different areas. And so that's where we kind of are right now.
And I have learned a fun fact because our friend Kelly, who is our program coordinator at the library, has learned a lot of fun facts from Stockhands as well as she's met with you, that horses are really intuitive to feeling like the heartbeat of humans. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so a horse can actually feel your heartbeat from 4 feet away. Not hear it, but actually feel it.
Wow.
So if you're walking into a situation with a horse and you're angry and you're mad or you're frustrated or whatever, that horse feels that.
Okay.
So you have a couple different kinds of therapeutic horses. One that's really confident and it's like, I got you. Let's just, we're going to be calm. This is nothing to be afraid of. Or you have some horses that are a little bit less confident and you have to do some self-reflection. Like if the horse is skittering around and trying to figure out what's going on, you're like, what am I bringing into this situation?
Wow.
So then you have to kind of like blow out the birthday candles, calm down. All right, where are we going to be at to try to get that horse to calm down? So we use both of those kind of scenarios across all of our programs.
That is just absolutely fascinating to me. And I love that it can go either way. It can be, there is the horse who's like the caregiver who's like, don't you worry about a thing. I'll bring you down. And then on the other side as well, to be like where you have to have that introspection. So what brought about the Read with the Horses program?
I'm going to turn that over to Michelle.
So I actually had been volunteering at Stockhands for about a year. And as an elementary educator, I'm always trying to help my students develop a love of reading and really help build on that as they're growing as readers. And there was one day I was at the barn and I was like, oh, my students, they would really, really benefit from coming out here. And I actually, like that night, had a dream that my class was reading to horses at the barn. And so I went in and I talked to Tim and I was like, this is super crazy and ridiculous, but could I bring my class out to read to the horses? And he was like, sure, let's do it. So 2019 in May, brought some of my current students at the time out and we sat and read with the horses. And it was such a cool experience. I had students who were afraid to read out loud in the classroom or who were nervous about that, reading out loud, doing different voices, using all kinds of expression. I
because
had,
the horse needs to know what the inflection of the tone should actually be.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had one student who brought their writing journal and shared like everything they had written that school year with one of the horses. And it was just talking with the parents and seeing students that I had worked with. It was actually a group that I had in 2nd grade and in 4th grade. So students that I had for 2 years, and just the different way they were responding to that judgment-free zone with the horses. It was so cool. And so talking over with Tim, I was like, can we open this up to the public? And so we did. And the rest is kind of, history.
Yeah.
During the COVID years, we had to get creative, and we did some, online where we would do read-alouds online and live stream it. There's a video of me in a boat in the middle of the pond reading a book. Luckily, nobody fell in the pond. But,
no books were damaged in the filming of this reel. Yeah.
No, but it's just been really cool watching over the last 6 years the way it's grown, the people it's touched, the stories I've heard from parents about. A friend of mine, it was actually one of my own daughter's teachers at daycare. She was like, my son refuses to pick up a book. And he sat and read an entire book for 2 hours to one of the horses. And so it's just really cool to bring two of my loves together, the language arts reading piece and the horses and
now you have the most educated horses I was just probably the world.
They probably need Goodreads accounts.
Yeah,
so that
they
we
really
can keep
do.
track of
what each horse has read.
That is a great idea.
That's
It
adorable.
would be really useful to know what I needed to bring when I come to read to the horse.
Yeah, you don't want to read something that the horse has already read.
We want to keep them engaged. I want to have a good discussion with them.
Well, and the neat thing about this is that, we've started working with you guys and it's been a lot of fun. And this program had been, you could register for $5, which is a low price point, but for some people is still, difficult to reach. But thanks to our friends of the library, their relationship with the Delaware County Foundation and the Polaris Fund that we received this year, all of those signups are now free. So, you still get your payment, and we get to pay you through the Polaris Fund. But everyone in the community who wants to read to a horse can read to the horse, and you don't have any money coming out of your pocket.
Yeah, and the great thing about it is that the $5 charge was literally just enough to be able to pay the staff to be there, make sure that the horses were in and all of this other stuff, so, and any kind of money that we would get outside of that would go towards our organization. So this sponsorship has been an amazing relationship. We are so excited. And I mean, just to be able to tell everybody when they come in, we can be like, oh my gosh, and the library, now you can come. And we have little kids and we have adults. We have, college students that literally come in with their textbooks and sit in front of and read because that's the only time that they're actually going to actually do it. So it's kind of like Michelle said, it's fun to watch all of the interactions, and the horses, they really do get into it. You should see the pictures. The horses' noses are literally in the books, and they are intrigued by everything.
They are brilliant animals, though, are they not? I mean, they really are smart. They probably are picking something up.
Well, and speaking of like the different ages and different people that come in and read, we have a couple women who come in and will read books in French to the horses. So our horses also are starting.
Bilingual.
Yeah, they're starting to speak multiple languages as well.
But
it's amazing.
It's so cool to see. Like the real little kids coming in, and then we also have the older generations. And,
well, because let's also, you've touched on it lightly, but, one of the reasons why, one of the things we've done at the Delaware County District Library is we've had Pause for Reading, which is reading with therapy dogs. And the rationale behind that is a little twofold. One is that it gives kids an opportunity to practice their reading out loud, and a dog's not going to judge you, for anything, your voices or your mispronunciations or you're trying to figure out a word, because that's all in the journey of learning how to read. But also, we've talked about it helps with some, maybe if you had a fear of dogs, it helps really put you in like a safe place with a trained dog. So, and this is just a really beautiful continuation of that.
Yeah, we actually had, speaking of that, we had a lady come in, I think it was this last month, and she was like, I brought a book, but really, can I just go sit? She was like, I am terrified of horses, and I set a goal this year to overcome that fear. Yeah. And I said, okay, let's go. And by the end, she was sitting there reading to the horse. She was petting some of the horses. It was just so cool to see that, like, the connection and watching her, like, okay, I'm going to overcome this fear. And this is an a good way to do that.
Right. So before we go any further, I don't want to let people go without knowing how they can sign up for this
Yes,
program.
that's such a good point.
Our very first Stockhands Read with the Horses Delaware County District Library and Stockhands Horses partnership is tomorrow. That is Saturday, July 12th. That is going to be from 1 to 4 p.m. You can find it on the Delaware County District Library online calendar, on our app, anywhere you find our events. And it's always the second Saturday of the month. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about how folks can register.
So it's the second Saturday of every month from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. There are 3 sessions, so 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock that you can sign up for. You can register through the Delaware County Library's website, Stockhands website. We also have the link post on the Stockhands Horses for Healing Facebook page and the Read
But
with,
you have your own
and
Facebook
the Read
page
with the
for it.
Horses
Yes,
Facebook
I
page
love
as
that.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Definitely look it up. Look up Stockhands Reads with the Horses on Facebook, and you will see so many cute pictures.
I am following, I must say. It does brighten your day to see those pictures.
Absolutely. Well, before we go, let's talk about some of the other things we have happening at the library. Molly, what do you have in front of you?
You know, I am really excited because we have, and of course I've got the page off, the Caravan coming, which is a really interesting and unique program. They're cooking programs, but they're also a show, especially if your kids really have no experience with cooking, or your teens or anybody. They make it a lot of fun, but it's things like even knife safety or how to use a can opener, getting excited about food, getting excited about healthy food.
Yeah.
This one, the first one coming up, is going to be at our Liberty branch on Monday, July 14th. It's from 2 to 3. And they're going to be plant and plate party.
Yeah, my kids went to this one at Delaware. It was a fun time. They kind of, I don't know, this group is so diverse. They teach you about cooking. They sing some songs. They're also doing a teen program where they're going to teach you how to rap. Like, they're ridiculous, these boys.
They are ridiculous in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Don't miss it. This is a unique experience you can get at the library.
Yeah, and my kids came home, and one had planted basil and one had planted dill, and they both had recipes of what they could make with it, like some pesto and some dill bread. I was like, love that.
I need to go because my tomatoes are doing something weird. I need them to tell me what I'm doing wrong.
I know, right? Next week, we'll have our friend Robbie Apt on. She's going to talk about our community bookmobile stops. You can find those on our online calendar, too, and you'll hear more about it next week from Robbie. But I want to point out our friends at Science, oh gosh, I just lost it. Anyway, they do the Adventure of the Missing Color. So that's at the Orange Branch Library. Yeah, on Wednesday at 2 o'clock. And they are going to have hands-on experiments, fun, interactive stories, and get kids excited about the science that's all around us as we celebrate the science of color. That's which is what our theme is this summer. All sorts of good things.
All the colors.
I know. All right. Well, that leads us to the end of our show today. Again, next week you're going to have fun with Molly or with Hannah and Jana
Not
and Robbie.
Molly and Nicole.
We'll be out.
I know. We'll be missing
Thank you,
all.
Michelle. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Stockhands. Yes. And guys, go out and read with the horses tomorrow, and then again every second Saturday. We'll until next week. See you in the stacks.